it's Shika. This is actually a Shika Tries episode. I'm actually not sure which episode this is right now. I'll figure that out post-production. But episode Shika Tries, welcome. Okay, let me get the basket. I can't believe I turned my lantern off. Ooh, I think I'm out of frame. Cool. All right, let me dip my hand in the basket and then we'll see what today's video is going to be about. All right, here goes. I covered it with a tote I painted. That's the tote. I never finished though. Okay, I'm not going to look in the basket. I'm just going to put my hand inside and then whatever I pick, that's what I'm going to go with. I'm scared. Okay, let's just do this. Oh, it's stuck. Oops. I just felt something too. Oh my gosh. Come out. It's a sketchbook. I've been collecting sketchbooks like a crazy person, like who collects sketchbooks and doesn't even sketch in them. Whatever. All right, I'm gonna try again. Okay, I got oil pastels. This is what we're gonna go with. And since I pulled out this sketchbook, I am just gonna go with this sketchbook. Let me show you my sketchbooks. Okay, there they are. All right, let's show you the sketchbooks. It's a watercolor sketchbook. This one was a gift from my auntie. This is just medium weight paper. And I got this one from acrylics. It's a mixed media paper, but it's in the color gray. I thought that was interesting. I've never tried anything that isn't white or off-white before, so of course I had to get this one. And I got the same one, but this is in black, so it's black paper. I wish I had picked this one because I just feel like the oil pastels will stand out, but the one I picked is also fine. This one is craft paper, so it's brown paper. So I think the colors should contrast nicely on the paper. I've never tried craft paper before, so I just knew whatever I would pick, it would be fine. But this is the black paper. It's so black, so good. I'll definitely use it in one of my videos. So if you are curious, don't worry, the video is coming. I don't know why I go in front of the camera when my brain is not even thinking. My gosh. But let's open these up. I have such bad luck with holding things up. Every time I hold something up, it's falling out. But this is what it looks like. Recording is so hard. Oh my gosh. Sorry. All right, I'm switching over to voiceover now. I also got these pastels a while back. So because we are doing oil pastels today, I'm going to include these ones as well. In all honesty, I don't really have high hopes for this specific one because of the price points. I don't remember exactly how much it was, but it was inexpensive. It was less expensive than the gallery one. So let's see how this one performs. I'm going to start the swatch process with the gallery pastels. A few swatches in, I noticed these pastels have a waxy feel. They remind me of the crayon, but they're not as waxy as a crayon. But they definitely don't feel like I expected an oil pastel to feel. I was expecting a creamy, buttery, smooth feel, but these ones, I don't know, they just were kind of waxy and frustrating to work with. I noticed that some of the colors were opaque and others were patchy. I struggled quite a bit with the patchy ones. No matter how many times I went over it on the page, it just wasn't working. It just wouldn't stick to the paper. Honestly, it was so pointless, so then I would just give up and then move on to the next color. This specific shade of green was really horrible. It just wasn't working. For some reason, it's not showing on camera. I don't get it. It wasn't the best, to be honest. These shades of blue were quite bad as well. Alright, last one. I'm so glad that's over. I'm really curious to know what the other one would feel like. I think this one is demasked. Yeah, Dimas. That's what it's called. That's the company's name. That's the brand of this pastel. I haven't heard of this one before, so I really don't know what to expect. I just had low expectations for this one. So I know I said I had low expectations for this one, but this one, my gosh, this one was so good. So much better than the first one. Right away, I noticed how soft and smooth these pastels were compared to the gallery ones. The difference was clear. The difference was so clear as day. The gallery ones were waxy. It wasn't the greatest experience using them, but these ones glided on the page like butter. However, you do need to be careful not to press too hard because of how soft they are. Now, because I loved the Dimas pastel so much, that's what we're going to start with. Like, I'm not trying to start the first one with a struggle. I tend to like seeing hints and peaks of underlayer color, so I went in first with the Posca pen to lay a block of color before going on top with the pastel. I also noticed that these pastels blend so nicely together. It was fairly easy to go on top of the previous layers to blend them without finger smudging. I decided not to finger smudge while working in this video. You're probably wondering why. What do I even mean probably? Of course you're wondering why. Alright, I'll tell you why. I didn't smudge the pastels at all because I wanted to see how well they would do without any external help. That really is the reason why. I also low-key like the rough pastel effect as opposed to the smooth one, but yeah, I digress. You know how the saying goes, don't judge a book by its cover. Yeah, this right here reminded me of that saying. And we done. I was high-key surprised by how quickly this went. I'm so not used to finishing things this quick, so I was really shocked. I even had extra creative fuel in my tank, which is like a rare thing, but the dreaded gallery has caught up with me. The princess of soft life. Pun intended. Because I like the soft pastels and don't want to deal with these hard ones. Also, babes, forgive me for that horrible impersonation of nothing. I'm really sorry. So for this one, I'm drawing a vase. So I start with the outline and then I go in with squiggly lines. So here's the thing. After I finished doing this pastel illustration, I really couldn't for the life of me understand why they felt how they felt, because I know gallery, I think the company is, I don't want to mention the name, I don't want to spoil the name, but the company of this pastel is known for producing good quality oil pastel. So I didn't understand why it felt the way it did. So I decided to do some research. I was beginning to feel like, I don't know, it was my fault. So I did some research and I found out that they, long story short, I think I got a knockoff one. I know. But in my defense, I thought I was buying this one. I really thought they were both the same thing. And yeah, you can argue that this one is blue and that one is black, but I didn't know there was a difference. Like, I didn't know anything about blue and black. I just thought it was one, like, I just thought it was that one pastel set. Only for me to purchase it and find out later on, much later on, that it was a knockoff. And that is the whole pastel debacle summarized in a nutshell. And that's why they feel weird. So now I have to purchase the original gallery one and give my opinion on it and see if it's much better, if it's up to the hype, or I don't know, just check it out for myself. Okay, so back to the illustration at hand. Because this one is of a more waxy nature, I noticed that when I did lines, the lines were much sharper than the softer pastel. Of course, this isn't a good or a bad thing, it's just a thing I noticed when I was working with it. Blending wasn't great, but I managed to work with it. I just went over them multiple times, more than I did in the previous one, and because of that, it took me much longer to complete the second one than it did the first. At this point, I was trying so hard to get some of the pink on there, but it just wouldn't work. The pastel just kept resisting the pink pastel. Like, I couldn't. I tried and tried and tried, and it just wasn't working. But I just couldn't accept defeat, so I tried my possible best and I pressed it. And this was the only way I was able to get some of the pink on there. I had to really press on the pastel to leave some residue on the paper. I also kept having to turn the pastel on its side because each time I pressed onto the blue, it would pick some of the blue up. So I would have to turn the pastel to a pink side and then use it. I just kept doing that and wiping the blue off. I really didn't enjoy all the resistance. It was really annoying, especially with this pink. I don't know why. If it's a color thing, because the orange showed more than the pink did, and the brown showed up even more than the orange. So I guess it was that specific pink shade. And I totally like how this turned out. I don't hate it at all. I really thought I was gonna hate it, but this turned out pretty nice. But which one is your favorite? Let me know. I generally enjoyed working with pastels. I didn't expect to like pastels. I've always been so afraid, but it turned out pretty good. Pretty good in my opinion. That was definitely fun and low-key scary. It was low-key scary. I was panicking the whole time, but it was fun. Well, that's it for today. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. Until next time,